Hi there. I thought I'd just do a short little video here on this kind of topic around fat shaming after the kind of Good Morning Breakfast program and the Fit Pro going on there now. I really don't know what her qualifications are. She's obviously got supplements to push, so I think there's a marketing kind of angle to this, and it's kind of a bit of shock value, so most probably clickbait for her website, or just to get her notice, or maybe she's hungry for fame. I really don't know. But what to me was quite surprising is the amount of fit pros that I've seen on Facebook, social media, saying that, oh no, it's okay to fat shame and tell people to get a grip. And you hear phrases like tough love and, you know, if it's not hard, it's not worth doing. This type of kind of outlook, as it were. Now, that's all very well and good, but I think what that does show is a clear lack of understanding of how and why people make changes. The first thing to say about this is fat shaming definitely won't work because you're not respecting the client's autonomy, their right to make a choice. And I think sometimes fit pros kind of struggle with this. It's like, no, you need to do it. You see it a lot. I mean, we've tried it with cigarette smoking. You know, if you smoke, you get cancer. Well, some of the biggest smokers are health professionals. I don't kind of know what the statistics are currently, but certainly at one time they were. Now, all of those people understood that smoking gives you cancer. So clearly scare tactics don't work. And what's quite intriguing about that is public health message still goes with that. If you think of all cigarette packets, they have the tarry lungs, the furred up heart, whatever it might be. So you've actually got Public Health England persisting with scare tactics, even though we know they don't work, which is kind of intriguing and certainly goes against what the evidence-based is. The other thing that's missing from all these comments and from when people work with people that are obese, especially severely obese or super morbidly obese, is a real lack of understanding of how and why people do make a change. I watched a bit of the My 600 Pound Life last night, you know, people that are at this level of obesity, and it was interesting watching some of the professionals interacting with them because they were sitting down and they were preaching to them. You do realise that at this weight, your chances of this or that, and you're not going to see kind of 50, and you're not going to grow up for your kids, and you won't be there for them. So again, shock tactics, lack of empathy, lack of autonomy. If you look at all the behaviour change research, the two things that are quite key and quite specific to how somebody will make change are, firstly, you must respect their autonomy, their kind of ability, if you like, or their right to make a choice. Now, if you know motivational interview, understand motivational interviewing, you can respect autonomy, you can give information as long as you give it with the client's permission, but it's really up to them to process that information and then come to their own conclusions. Now, with a lot of these people that are obese, overweight, whatever, they most probably understand healthy eating. They most probably understand that they need to exercise more. And certainly all the people in that program last night that were interviewed had a fairly good grasp on that. So you standing there and giving them more information really isn't going to help. So what you need to explore, or what the client actually needs to explore, is their reasons why they don't do it or why they can't do it or whatever, and get them to voice them. And then you help them on that journey, the realization that maybe there is a way around this. One of the key aspects of working with morbidly obese people is support. All the research shows that having a support mechanism is really, really important. And as a fit pro, you can fill that role. But if you're going to fulfill that role, the other thing you have to have is empathy. Now, you hear some people saying, well, what would you know? You love fitness and you've always been fit. You've never been overweight. How can you understand me? You don't have to have been obese or live their life to have empathy. Empathy does not mean, oh, I understand that. I can see what it's like for you or whatever. Empathy is understanding the role. And you don't have to have walked a mile in their shoes. You don't have to have been obese. It's just understanding from their perspective and taking your own value judgments out of it. And I think some of the comments on social media kind of almost clearly show that some fit pros are not taking these value judgments out. They're judging people based on their own perceptions of kind of lifestyle, exercise, healthy eating, whatever. Now, empathy is really, really important. Terry Moyers, who's a researcher from University of New Mexico, Professor Terry Moyers, I know Terry personally, and I've seen a lot of her work. She's found that in addictive behaviours, so whether this be alcohol, smoking, drug abuse, or obesity, because that is an addictive behaviour, kind of the love of food and what have you, one of the key things that indicate success, and one of the key indicators for a person being able to make a change, is having a counsellor stroke trainer who displays empathy. Not necessarily massively knowledgeable, so level of qualification was not a key correlation, but one of the things that correlated very much with the client success, and it is only correlational data, so you can't read too much into that, but trainers that displayed a good level or greater level of empathy tended to get better results with their clients. And that's most probably because the client felt that they had support, they could kind of speak with this person without being judged. And learning empathy and honing your empathy skills is a really, really important aspect. As I say, when I watched that £600 Life last night, a lot of the professionals, whether they be the doctors, the practice nurses, whatever, they really weren't displaying a lot of these qualities. They certainly weren't respecting clients' autonomy, and there was some empathy there, although you felt they were just kind of giving a nod to it. So from my perspective, just to sum things up, fat shaming doesn't work, and there's a mass of evidence to support that. You must respect the client's autonomy, their ability to make their own choices. You have to respect that. You might not like the choices they're making, but you have to respect them. And the other key thing, as I say, from a trainer's perspective, empathy. So having empathy for the client, trying to understand where they're coming from, what their lifestyle looks like, because obesity is multifactorial. It's not just about, oh, you can't control your eating. It's social deprivation. It's the social background. It's the work situation. It's the family situation. It's peer group support. There are numerous other confounding variables that you could throw into that mix. So obesity isn't simple. And if you try to approach it with a simplistic view about, oh, it's just them, they need to control their eating, then you're most probably not working in the right area. But if you really do want to work in this field, then work on your empathy, work on respecting the client's autonomy, and maybe most importantly of all, work on your active listening skills. Make sure you're able to sit there and just take in what you're being told. Hopefully you find that helpful. Got any questions, just bang them up on Facebook or on my website. Happy to kind of interact, talk about this. Cheers for now.